Hi everyone, this is a short tutorial for the procedure for creating and submitting e-invoices using the e-invoicing feature in the system. We will go through step by step in this video. Users can follow this guideline only after completing the settings and e-invoicing integration setup. For setup instructions, refer to our previous video, FAV365 e-Invoice Onboards Tutorial 1. There are 6 items to cover in this tutorial. Activating e-invoicing in Express 365. Creating an invoice. Submitting an e-invoice. Amending and updating e-invoices. Canceling submitted e-invoices. Viewing the status of submitted invoices. Number 1. Activating e-invoicing in Express 365. Once user have completed all setting, user have 2 options when submitting e-invoices. Pre-prod, trial, for user to do testing for submitting e-invoice. Prod, actual, for user to do the live transactions. Now that e-invoicing is activated and the environment is selected, user can proceed to creating an invoice and submitting as e-invoices. Number 2. Creating an invoice. We use sales invoices as demo purpose. Besides sales invoice, cash sales, sales return, debit notes, and credit notes also can trigger to create e-invoice. Go to Sales, Sales Invoices. Select New Sales Invoices to create a new invoices. Choose a customer to proceed. Ensure customer, TIN, and ID has been set up. Fill up necessary information to avoid submission failure. All fields highlighted in red must be completed. Now that the invoice is completed, user can proceed to save the invoice, and the e-invoice button will appear in the top right corner of the invoice creation screen. Click the e-Invoice button to navigate to LHDN portal page. Number 3. Submitting e-invoice. The LHDN portal page displays the following basic information: the current environment, the current type of invoice for the e-invoice, whether it is a self-billed e-invoice, document number, which is the sales invoice number. The invoice UUID and status will only be displayed after system submitted to the My Invoice portal. User have 3 options on this page: submit, update, and cancel the e-invoice. If an error message is returned, users can refer to the message, make rectification, until the e-invoice is able to submit. The status and UUID will be displayed once the issues are rectified and the e-invoice is successfully submitted. A timer will also appear, indicating the remaining period during which the user can update or cancel the e-invoice. After this time expires, modifications or cancellations will no longer be possible. Actions taken by the user and My Invoice portal will be recorded and shown in the actions log table below. For example, valid, submit, update, or cancel. Once the invoice has been validated by LHDN, the user can back to invoice page by clicking the document and print it out with a QR code that reflects the invoice status. Number 4. Amending and updating e-invoices. If the user wants to modify the details in the existing e-invoice, for example, customer details, amounts, items, user can back to the invoice submitted earlier, make the necessary changes to the invoice field, save the invoice, and navigate to e-invoice submission page again. Click onto the Update e-Invoice button. Click Confirm on the pop-up message. After the e-invoice is updated, the actions Cancel and Submit will appear in the Actions log table. This is because modifications require the e-invoice to be canceled first. However, the system will automatically handle the cancellation and resubmission for the user. Once the invoice has been validated by LHDN, the status will update to valid, and a new UUID will replace the old UUID. Number 5. Canceling submitted invoices. Whereas, if the user wants to cancel the existing e-invoice, user can back to the invoice submitted earlier, navigate to invoice submission page again. In the submission page, click onto the Cancel e-Invoice button, type user reason, and click Confirm on the pop-up message. Afterward, the Actions log table will display the invoice with a canceled status. Please note that the system allows users to cancel or amend a submitted invoice only within 72 hours. Number 6. Viewing the status of submitted invoices. After completing all invoice submissions, Users can check the status and records of their e-invoice submissions by navigate to the tags e-Invoice, e-Invoice Enquiry. On this screen, user can search for submissions based on specific criteria, like the submission period or submission status. Users also can view the actions log table by clicking the audit trail. Thank you for following along.